Okay, I'm pleased to have today sitting down with me John Atkerson. He is a United States Navy veteran. Welcome, John.
Thank you.
Okay. John, do you think you could give us a little background on yourself?
I was born in Temple, Texas in October 1944, and later we moved to Rogers, Texas, which is a town about the size of this office. Texas, there's nothing there.
Not big, huh?
And my dad was an only child. He was in the Navy in World War II. My mother had four brothers. They were all in the Army, two in World War II, one in Korea, one in Vietnam. And when I graduated high school in 1963, Vietnam just became a household word. People actually knew there was such a place. So like the family had no plans for college because I was never a very good student. So I joined the Navy, me and a friend. We both went to boot camp in San Diego. And out of boot camp, they sent me to radio school. Well, I didn't know I didn't have to go, so I went to school for 6 months. And my friend, well, she went to radio school also, but they sent him to Maryland for it. So we came in on a buddy plan. We were the only buddies in boot camp. Then we went to the opposite coast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got up there, got aboard my first ship, and I thought, this is not what I really wanted to do, I don't think. But I enjoyed the Morse code back then. That was the main communications. I kind of enjoyed that part. That was the only part. And after a while, in a bad marriage and everything else going on, I ended up going AWOL. Well, I was gone for quite a while, and when I turned myself in, I was court-martialed in Corpus Christi and sent to the brig there. And I got out of the brig, they sent me to a ship in Florida. And by the time I did busted E2. Well, on the ship in Florida, and I got up to E4, and still in the same bad marriage, but just finally realized that's what my problem was. And went AWOL again. Well, this time I got picked up by the police in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They turned me over I still have my ID card, but they turned me over to the military authorities. They sent me to Pensacola, Florida for court-martial. I was court-martial there in the brig. Out of the brig, they sent me to a ship in South Carolina. I couldn't believe they let me stay in both times. They should have kicked me out, really. If it was today, they would.
Yeah.
But anyhow, my record other than military behavior was always really good, and I guess only saved me. So after that, when I got there, I made second class there. I didn't even get busted at the court martial. I went in as an E4 and came out as an E4. And I made E5 on a cruise after that on the ship out of South Carolina.
And what kind of ship were you on, John?
I was on 5 destroyers, an aircraft carrier, and an oceanographic survey ship. And then I stationed in Washington, D.C., and I made E6 there on shore duty. I left there and went to an oceanographic survey ship, and from there to John F. Kennedy, where I made chief. And when I took the chief's test, way back when you took the test, you passed it, you made chief. Mm-hmm. And by the time I got to had to go before a review board, they sent your record to a group in Washington, D.C., and reviewed your record, all the records of those people going up. I thought, when they see my record, I don't have a chance. Well, as it turned out, it's my first time up for chief, I made it. And I said, this is just a miracle. I got to clean up my act, for sure.
Well, it sounds like they weren't interested in that, how you acted up. They were interested in your professionalism.
Well, you know what, I thought it was kind of good, lucky for me, really, in a way, many things, but in a way is, when I went to the deck force as a chief, even as first class, all these young kids come aboard there, back in the day, if you didn't have high enough scores, you couldn't go to a school. They sent you to the deck force. And it was kind of a downer. People were always, the guy's not designated. He doesn't know nothing, couldn't get a school. Right. I told him, you have to be proud. You're the most important people on this ship. We can't be without you. You cast the ship off, you tie it up. You drop the anchor, you run the boats, you steer the ship, you run the thing. And be proud of that. And it's something to see. Sure. He said, you're the first people that people on the pier see when you come into the port. You up around the forecastle. Everybody's waving at you, they're all glad to see you. So it's good that way. And when I got ready to retire, I was on a destroyer out of San Diego, coming back to Westpac cruise, and I was going to retire in May of the 22 years, I was going to do 23. I was going to retire in May of 1986. Well, as it turned out, just before I got back, I was on a terminal leave on arrival. I was going to it, and then they said, the ship's going to go in the yards. I said, that's when I said, I want to go out in January because I don't like yard periods. So instead of 23, I did 22 years and 8 months.
Sure.
And then I got out of there, and I still hadn't really decided what I wanted to do. I think I was single for about. And I said, well, I'll just tend bar. I know how to do that. I took the bar throughout my career just about. So I went to work in San Diego, attended the bar, and this company down the street from us, an electronics company, and my wife was working there, and they had to come in for happy hour. And we got together and ended up getting married. So it came time she said, well, the company's moving to Washington State. And she said, "Do you want to go, Pete?" She said, "I don't have to, but she was a manager, so she's pretty well up there." So I said, "Why not? It'd probably be best for both of us to get out of this town because we both had a history there, social history." So.
Probably a little different than Texas too, isn't it?
So we moved up here to Washington. I've been here since moved here in 1995. And I never had been a member of the American Legion or the VFW. Wanted to qualify for both of them. And then my dad passed away in 1990. It was 1990. And my sister said that the VFW and the American Legion took care of everything for her. Said they did the funeral for her, and the whole work said just great help. I thought, well, that sounds like it's a reasonable place to get involved. So I joined both of them the day I got back to the funeral.
Sure.
And I've been a life member of the VFW since then, and the American Legion. Been a life member there for about the last 5 years. I've been a member for over 35 years, but life member now. And my wife's a life member, but not life member. She's a life member of the VFW, but the Legion doesn't offer a life membership for auxiliary. So I have 2 daughters. They both veterans. My oldest was in the Air Force. My youngest was in the Marine Corps. Their husbands were career guys. I mean, they're career people all around, and I like it.
I was going to say there's service in spades there, man. You bet.
And I was really surprised. I never encouraged either one of my girls to join the service. And I just didn't think about it. They both wanted to. They didn't go in the Navy, but I guess they had enough of the Navy around me. But it worked out good. My youngest made a sergeant in the Marine Corps, and she was in for about 10 years. And her and her husband, and when their third baby was born, they said, we were both deployable. And they both had been deployed. But
right.
At the time, my ex lived in Fallbrook, California. And they were at Camp Pendleton, so when they had to deploy, she'd take care of them. So the 3 of them now, they were in Camp Lachute. And Marty, my youngest, her and her husband, oldest, Brandy, her and her husband are retired in Pensacola. And Marty and her husband are in Germany. He's still on active duty. He's a Master Sergeant in the Marine Corps. And I think she said next summer they're supposed to rotate back to the States, but I'm sure he's getting ready to retire, so it's been a while.
Yeah, it's a lot of years of service.
Yeah, I still think about it a lot. I used to dream about it for probably 3 or 4 years after I retired. And in all my dreams, I was always out of uniform. I thought, why am I dreaming? I'm missing a hat or my shoes or something.
Yeah.
I guess being in a uniform all the time, you're always worried about something not being right.
Oh yeah. Your cape line's got to be just right, or your buckles shine. Do you have a fingerprint on your buckle or on your brass or something like that? Yeah. Always worried about something. So, John, how long were you the commander of the?
It's two terms. It's only a 1-year term. I did 2. It's like Mike. It's only his 2nd term now.
Okay.
Yeah, we had some people down there, and nobody wanted to do the job. They wanted to be commander. And one guy, I think 3 or 4 different times he's been probably told like 6 years as commander because nobody would take it. You can't just leave it open.
Right.
And it's not fair to the person that's in there to
Sure.
not have any backup.
Yeah.
But Mike is a good man, and Robin, who's on the House Committee there, he's a good man. He runs the Honor Guard. And they generate some good feelings down there among the people. I think to get involved.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's the American Legion. I don't believe the people realize how many things that the American Legion does in the community. I mean, when I was talking with Mike this morning, there was a lot of things that he mentioned that I didn't realize. That services that they provided or assistance for veterans and their families, and they provide. But could you kind of touch on a few of those things that?
We're very fortunate. We have an excellent bar staff, so we have a lot of good income there too, and we have the funds to help people out. So
Right.
we contribute quite a bit to the Civil Air Patrol, 2 Boy Scout troops, a Cub Scout troop. I think a Girl Scout troop was still involved.
Mm-hmm.
nurses training. We do a lot of scholarships there, either through the Legion and also through another group there in the 40 and 8 of the American Legion. They also get money to the.
Right.
That's their whole thing is the nurses training.
Now, do you have a women's auxiliary in the
Oh,
American
yeah,
Legion?
they're pretty active too.
Yeah. Is there quite a few? There's quite a few members. This is a pretty big post, isn't it?
I think we have probably less than 600 members.
That's still
That's pretty, yeah, for a place this has.
yeah, that's pretty good size, sure.
I'm glad too that Robin's so good with the getting people involved in the honor guard, because we get a lot of calls for services, and sometimes it'd be 2 a day, and nobody else around here has got an honor guard.
Mike
So
said they were going to one. Well, he left around noon. He says they were going to one, and they says they got 2 more
Yeah,
this weekend. So
full weekend.
yeah, but
You have to go pretty far too. I know. I think probably the most difficult doing 2 in a day was we did one in Entiat, and the other one was in Arundel. So you had to come all the way back to Nancy, back up
sure,
to the side of the
sure.
river.
And I wasn't aware that not only does the American Legion do things in the Wenatchee area, you also do them up valley and
Oh yeah.
all over. So yeah, that organization is pretty far-reaching in what it can do, and yeah, it's an amazing organization, and it just needs to. I just don't think there's enough. Hopefully, this is one of the platforms that can be used. I was telling Mike that in the future, when they have activities or events that are planned in the future, something like that, let me know, and sit down for a few minutes and just get a video out so that people, you can see a flag, or you can see a poster, you can see something in the paper. A lot of people don't even take the paper.
Yeah, I don't.
But I mean, there's a lot of people that go online and they look at that and go, oh well, the American Legion's got an event coming up, like this, the WDVA, the Purple Heart thing that's coming up on the 7th of August next week. If you don't get it out there, then you don't get that participation of the community, and it's kind of I have to say, it's not a disservice. It's not the responsibility of them to, just really put a tremendous effort out there. But social media is such a good thing when you use it properly. You can reach a lot of people very quickly and shed a lot of good information for them. So, but. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, we have a joint VFW American Legion Veterans Picnic. I think it's September 21st. And of course, everybody's welcome to that.
It's down at Walla Walla Park then?
Correct.
Well, in your Navy career, John, you must have went all over, I mean, with all those different ships that you're on.
Well, actually, my first ship was out of Norfolk, Virginia. The second ship was out of Mayport, Florida. The third, Charleston, South Carolina. The fourth, fifth, and sixth were all out of Norfolk. And the last was out of San Diego. So I started my career in San Diego and retired there.
Now, which aircraft carrier are you on?
Kennedy.
The Kennedy.
Yeah, I said this. I found out a few things about it too. It says it was the last not nuclear carrier built.
Is that right?
So we refueled just about every 3 days for the airplanes and for the ship. It's in an atomic powered ship, nuclear boat. They refuel about every 22 years. But it takes several years to do it. They have to take the entire reactor out, take the ship apart, and put it back together. But I said, that sounds better than every few days.
Well, how long does it take to refuel an aircraft carrier?
Oh, probably about 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah, wasn't too bad.
Now, what
Yes.
kind of fuel load? I know it's got to be just astronomical, the fuel load that you take on.
That have been the engineers people that sniped out. They always had to get out there, go around sounding all the tanks, make sure you don't have overflows.
Yeah, it was always amazing to me when we go over to, like, for seafare or something like that, and they had the aircraft carrier, stand on the dock there and you look up at the flight deck, and the flight deck's like 90 or 100 feet off the water, and it's just a, that's just a, you don't realize the size until you're standing right there looking at it, and they are immense.
I never paid attention to them. I've been on destroyers, and I got orders to Kennedy, and I went at a naval base there in Norfolk, Virginia. Like you said, walking out there.
That's a big one. Yeah, yeah.
But my first two and a half years on there, I was in the Master Arms Force in ship's college. So I didn't really work at deck force. After I made chief, I couldn't be a Master Arms anymore because they gave me my choice of what division I want to go to. That's like third boat division.
Sure.
Liberty boats and captain's gig and all that. I like this.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretend it's my yacht.
There you go. There you go. Kind of a show for the sea.
Yeah, it worked out good too because we had a great skipper. When we get ready to go out on carry qualifications, it just not going anywhere. Just taking pilots out there basically. The captain let me keep my entire crew in port. The people train people, new coxswains, the guys who drive the boat, new bow hooks. And he said, he said, make me a news report to put in the ship's newspaper and tell them, put it in there. Your request will not be turned down under any circumstances if you want to do this. So we had a flood of applicants. And all these guys got to stand. Well, we got to take care of the boats too. We got them painted all over the port, got them cleaned up,
Sure.
got everybody trained. We had a hospital corpsman that was a qualified coxswain. And it saved a lot of money in the long run because we had a lot fewer accidents and incidents going alongside.
Well, that's a smart deal to cross-train people, so if somebody gets injured or something like that, you've always got somebody that fills that slot right
Yeah,
now.
everybody on the boat was qualified to drive it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it was fun too. I had a first class, had been in the Coast Guard, and he's an older guy. You gotta call him Pops because he's an old guy for
Yeah.
first class. And he was really good with the young guys. He was an excellent teacher. So he got everybody really trained well. We came back from the Carrick Walls and everybody was amazed at the way they're driving boats. It was just great. Because a lot of times, even in port, the boat goes alongside there, you got little choppy waters.
Yeah.
No matter how heavy that boat is, the water's worse. So it worked out great all the way around.
Well, and that older gentleman too, he probably took a lot of pride in the skill that he had. And when you have young people that show an interest like that, well, yeah, you feel good about sharing what you've learned, especially the people that are paying attention to you and are willing to learn. And so, yeah, that's great. Great. Well, John, it sounds like you had an interesting career in the Navy. And,
Yeah, Rocky Road at the beginning, but it turned out pretty good, I think.
yeah, I was going to say, boy, that many times in the brig, after a while, I would have thought they said, well, I'm sorry, John, we're going to have to put you out the door here.
My mother was convinced I was an inspector sitting undercover out to check on brigs. And
Yeah,
I didn't tell her that. She just came up with it on her own.
I was going to say, we know mothers are always right, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't be my son.
Yeah. So when you got out of the service, John, did you end up, well, of course you got, met your wife and everything, but then you ended up here in Wenatchee and been here ever since. And,
Yep. Yeah, I was on the House Committee for 9 years. I was chairman of the House Committee for 8 years. And Robin's on it now, and him and the two other people on it, they're doing an excellent job.
Yeah.
Really getting the place all fixed up.
Right.
And Navy-wise, I think of our last 8 new members, 7 of them were Navy, 3 of them were women. All 3 of them had been on aircraft carriers.
Yeah.
That was after my time. There's no women on my
Yeah,
carrier.
no. I know when I was in the service, I can't remember. Well, there wasn't any women in the line units or anything like that. But I can remember some women that were at the JAG office or places like that. But there was no infantry women or RD, and I was in armor, and there wasn't any women there. But it wasn't a co-educational type thing at the time. But and that's certainly not to take away from their service now. They do a great job, and so we're all happy to see them serving our country. So. Well, John, I want to thank you for sitting down and having a chat. Is there anything else you'd like to add, or?
Yes, go Navy.
Go Navy. All right. Well, I appreciate it, and thanks so much.
Thank you.